Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, the Mad Guy, going up here today with part 2 of the top 25 wrestlers, or my personal top 25 wrestlers from the 1980s to the 2000s. So that's before 2010, mainly WWF era. I apologise for my voice, I've still got a bit of a throat. I think all this running around and stuff has finally caught up to me. But anyway, I'm just going to keep this intro nice and short, and we're going to go from 19 to 15 today. And starting off at number 19, we have, let me just double check, I'm making sure I've got the right ones. Yep, Razor Ramon, the bad guy. Unfortunately, Scott Hall, or Razor Ramon, passed away a couple months ago. So rest in peace, Razor Ramon. But the bad guy, hey, Chico. Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, the bad guy, whatever you want to call him. He was, this machismo. He oozed machismo. He'd always come out with the slick hair, the toothpick in the mouth, always just coming down. It's like he's going to slide in those DMs, I loved Razor Ramon because even though he was the bad guy, but he also was like an anti-hero at times, He had some amazing matches. Who can forget that awesome ladder match with Shawn Michaels? In my opinion, one of the greatest ladder matches from the early, I think it was in the early 90s. Razor Ramon, of course, was great, especially in the new. He was around in the late 80s, the golden era, but he sort of helped build the new generation. A lot of people forget about the new generation, or the in your house generation, from like 89 to like 90, around about 94. This new generation, of course, Razor Ramon had some was probably most notorious for losing against the 1-2-3 Kid on the first ever Raw. Who can forget that, opening match, just to see him lose, but just a great wrestler in the ring. Of course, he went to WCW, did his own thing in WCW, and jumped ship kind of thing, but everyone knows who the bad guy was. He was just such a great character in the ring. He did a lot of stuff outside of the ring. Who can forget those commercials he did? He's sitting at the table and then he just throws everything on the floor. The bad guy was just such a great character in the ring. He who can forget that awesome over the shoulder like powerbomb type move, the razor's edge as it called it. Of course, a lot of wrestlers these days still use that type of move. Of course, Sheamus uses a move very similar to that. And there's a bunch of other wrestlers that use that sort of finishing type move today. Razor Ramon was just a legend back in the day, and helped build WWF, in my opinion. So, yeah. And then we have at number 18, who can forget one of the greatest Scotsmen of all time, Roddy Piper. Another one that was taken from us, unfortunately. But Roddy Piper was such a great wrestler. He was a great striker. Who can forget that knockout punch he did? The first ever WrestleMania, him against Mr. T. I know it seems really stupid by today's standards, but back in the day, that was pretty big. Roddy Piper, of course, very big in the 80s and early 70s. Of course, even in the 90s, he was still around. Helped train and inspire a ton of wrestlers. Even Ronda Rousey was inspired by Roddy Piper, and a lot of people in the modern generation of wrestling love Rowdy Piper. He was again like an anti-hero. He was a heel, but he was also a good guy at heart sometimes. He had this persona of being the good guy, but also being the bad guy as well. The crazy Scotsman, always would come out, wearing the kilt and stuff like that. But he was insane. You wouldn't want to mess with him. He's not the sort of guy you would want to meet in the alley late at night, because you get your ass kicked. But I had to put Rowdy Piper on here. Of course, I haven't personally seen this match, but again, a lot of people know Rowdy Piper for the dog collar match against Greg the Hammer Valentine in the 80s. And I know that because I watched a match with on AEW with Brody Lee and Cody. But yeah, Rowdy Piper is, in my opinion, just such a great wrestler, and one that will always be remembered as being one of the all-time greats. And then we have at number, let me just check, yeah, number 17. Oh, it's getting big now. When I say big, I'm on about the Big Red Machine, Kane. Oh my God, Kane. Oh my God, it's Kane. Who can forget Kane? I think Kane or Glenn Jacobs. Glenn Jacobs had a career before. Kane. A lot of people seem to forget that Glenn Jacobs, had a career as Isaac Yankem in the late 80s. The doctor character. But then there's another thing that a lot of people don't remember about Glenn Jacobs, but he played fake Diesel for a while. There was a really weird time in WWF when Diesel and Razor Ramon went to WCW, and for some reason WWF made believe that they're still in WWF, and Glenn Jacobs or Kane was pretending to be Diesel. I watched that and I seen, okay, that he looks familiar, and then I was like, oh wait a second, yeah, I know who that is now. But it weren't until the birth of Kane that we really sort of seen the Big Red Machine, the original monster. Who can forget that amazing debut of Kane when Undertaker and Shawn Michaels in the steel, the Hell in a Cell match. The lights go dark, this music starts, this red aura comes from the sky. You just see this huge man walking down with this mask on, rips off the cage door, goes in, knocks out the Undertaker. Oh my God, it's Kane, and of course Kane had this huge rivalry with the Undertaker. I should have put him up higher on the list, but with the people that I've got higher on the list, you'll understand why. But Kane had a huge career amongst WWE, and even before WWE as well. But Kane was huge. He was this giant monster. The red mask, the lifting his hands up, smashing down fire. He helped build the Attitude Era. A lot of people forget that Kane was, in my opinion, one of the pioneers of the Attitude Era. Because of his no-nonsense attitude, the fact that he would do all of this crazy stuff. He'd set people on fire, the Inferno matches, the tombstoning the priest, tombstoning women, and it was insane. Kane had some insane matches, and of course Kane went on to become, go on throughout for a long time, even had a brief run a few years ago with the whole John Cena Kane rivalry. Kane was notorious for almost ending Daniel Bryan's career, and stuff like that. But Kane is in my opinion, just a great, one of the all-time greatest characters in WWF. And of course, a lot of people know him as the brother of the Undertaker. Who can forget the Brothers of Destruction? Kane and Undertaker, one of the greatest all-time tag teams of all time. But Kane is the Big Red Machine, the devil's favorite demon, and in my opinion, one of the greatest of all time. And then we get on to number 16. Le Champion, Chris Jericho, baby. Now, again, you might see him pop up in another list because I will be doing a modern wrestling thing, so wrestlers from the last 5-6 years or from 2010 onwards. But Chris Jericho is, in my opinion, one of the most greatest of all time wrestlers. 30 years, 30 plus years of wrestling. And still going strong today. Chris Jericho. Who can forget that awesome debut with The Rock? It doesn't matter what your name is. He'd always come out. Chris Jericho was the perfect heel. He's played the face every now and then, but Chris Jericho is a heel, but he has a great inspiration to wrestlers. He's got a great network of people. He's the rock and roll baby. The heavy metal, the leader of the band Fozzy. Who can forget that song Judas? I still think Judas is one of my favourite songs still today. But in WWF, part of the Attitude Era, one of the first undisputed champions beat Rock and Stone Cold in the same night. And not many people can say that, because they're going to be on this list and they're going to be quite high up. So, Chris Jericho, man, I love Chris Jericho. I've always loved Chris Jericho. Of course, he had the falling out with WWE and helped pioneer AEW, but it just goes to show what type of person Chris Jericho really is in real life and how he actually cares about the business. And one of the biggest surprises was actually that Chris Jericho went on the Stone Cold Steve Austin Broken Skull sessions, and I haven't actually watched any of them yet, but that really surprised a lot of people, because he's still contracted with AEW, so a bit of a forbidden door there. But Chris Jericho, baby, Le Champion, Le Corazon, baby, the Demo God. I know that's more AEW, but he still had a great career in WWE, whether you look at it or not. Before he left WWE, unfortunately, he became a bit of a joke, at least how WWE handled his character. But, in the 90s and the early 2000s, Chris Jericho was amazing. And I still think his finishing move today, the Judas Effect, is probably one of my favourite finishers of today. But yeah, Chris Jericho, baby, one of the greatest of all time. And then at number 15, guys, we have the Viper, Randall Keith Orton. Randy Orton, guys. Randy Orton is, in many ways, still one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Even today, still going strong today, and it's amazing. I see all these videos of Randy Orton today, and I go, "Wow, the guy looks like he hasn't aged a day." Randy Orton, Randy Orton in many ways reminds me a lot of, these people like Roddy Piper, and, even some bit of Chris Jericho in there, a bit of Mr. Perfect, a bit of everyone. He started his career as the Legend Killer, the Legend Killer, this young star, and obviously became part of Evolution, and then went on to become the Viper. Who can forget Randy Orton's, this dark and decrepit type of person that doesn't, care about anyone else other than his own. Of course, he's had so many, people that he's worked with Edge. He's now working with that new person. I can't remember the new guy that he's working with. Matt something. I think it's Matt. I don't know. I don't really watch a lot of modern WWE, but I know he's part of that RK Bro. Is it RK Bro? The name of his tag team at the moment. But Randy Orton is in my opinion, still one of the greatest of all time. The RKO is probably considered to be one of the best finishers of all time, one of the most versatile finishers of all time. Some of the greatest finishing moves I've ever seen. Who can forget that shooting star press into the RKO, or even the fairly recent RKO from the curb stomp to Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. That was a massive, that was awesome. I really enjoyed that. And I still think Randy Orton is absolutely a great person in WWE. He's a great person outside of the ring, does a lot of work for charity. You see a lot of videos of him on Facebook going and seeing, I've not long just seen one of him going up and talking to a disabled kid. There was a video of him when he was having the match with Shane McMahon. I think it was a Survivor Series or one of those type of matches. and Shane McMahon was hurt, and he went up to his son and told him, no, he's okay, you know, I'm keeping an eye on him. And it's great to see those sort of things. And not just that, who can forget that Randy Orton, the punt, the kick? He doesn't do it anymore because obviously it's considered to be a banned move now, because it could potentially kill someone if done wrong, ends careers. But Randy Orton, the Viper, the master of the RKO, the slick one, you know, he is a snake really, because, you know, he always comes out and he's all oiled up, and, you know, he's this slimy creature of a person that you don't want to get on the wrong side of. But at the same time, he's an all-round great character. And who can forget that awesome theme song? I hear voices in my head, they count for me, they understand, they talk to me. Yeah, Randy Orton, I still think today is a fantastic wrestler, and has had some of the greatest rivalries of all time, and definitely deserves to be on this list. So anyway, there we go, guys. That's number 19 to 15. So tomorrow I will do number 14 to number 9, and then I'll do number 8 to 5, which will be a short video, but the final video will be the top 5, which I will talk more in depth about. And then I will do my honourable mentions. I just wanted to say that I also have another video planned, which I'm going to be doing, which is my top Only Fools and Horses moments. And I will also be doing a review on the Mortal Kombat movie, because I've got a lot to say about this, and it's all positive for the most part. This movie blew my mind. It was absolutely fantastic. Not a perfect movie, but I've got a lot to say about it. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna I've got to go shopping today. Got to go and pick a few bits up. Still not feeling 100%, so I'm gonna take it easy. I'm probably, again, I'm gonna come back and maybe watch a bit of WWE on my phone for a bit today. I'm not sure what I'm doing tonight. I might play some more South Park Stick of Truth. I'm still not like 100%. My throat's still hurting, but I think that's because I've got a lot of mucus still stuck in my throat. You know, when you're coughing and then over a while it starts hurting and stuff like that. So, but I just thought I'd do a little. Well, do you know what? I'm gonna actually upload this video, and I'm gonna do another video straight away in a minute, where I'm gonna be well, maybe not. I might do it at some point soon, where I'll do a update and a vlog of what's going on. But I will also probably going to watch some AEW tonight. In the mood to watch some AEW, take a break for some movies. But I've nearly caught up. I'm nearly finished 2.5 Men. So I did actually. Well, I'll talk more about this in my upcoming vlog video. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to leave a like. Let me know some more of your favourite wrestlers, and do you watch wrestling? What wrestling company is your favourite right now? And let me know your favourite wrestling moment, whether it's a modern one or an old one, your favourite match of all time. And as always, guys, subscribe if you haven't already. Join the family. And as always, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Mad Tiger. And have a nice day. See you soon.